Your first day as chairman, and you actually got some licenses awarded.
We finally did. We thought we had some awarded June of 12th, but after some inconsistencies in tabulation, we were all aware that we had some errors. So we had to go back to the drawing board and see where we had fell short. It actually was not the commission that fell short, but it was our evaluators. So that's why I like to.
I'm sorry, I just don't want it to be taken out of context. It's not the evaluators, it was the tabulation of the score.
No, I'm sorry. The evaluators that provided the information to assess and tabulate, and the scoring got off base. So yes, let me get back on track.
So most of these that were approved today were pretty much the same group from the first time.
For the most part, there were a few changes, and we knew that was probably going to come because we knew ahead of time, based on the misscoring, that there was some off base. There would be some replacement, re-ranking, and it was minor, as you said, but we're happy with where we are now, and so we've had a chance to look in depth at what the University of South Alabama has brought to us and really analyzed it very deeply, and had a lot of you heard the presenters today. I think they brought it firsthand as to how they went about their process. It was certainly detailed. So we've all had a chance to see what they saw and how they analyzed it and how they tabulated it. And we've been assured, and based on what we've seen, the scoring is accurate at this point in time.
Realistically, though, how soon will we see medical marijuana in Alabama?
Well, we've got to go through the investigative process. And that's probably going to be a 2 to 3 week process before we can actually say, okay, move forward. And we've got to receive all these receipts. We've got a lot of people will be paying a license fee. So once those are all in, and we'll move forward. The cultivators, of course, and the integrators, I guess, are first on the firing line as far as providing a product. So you're talking about a 2 to 3 month turnaround from the seedling stage to a plant that can be harvested for a product. The processing part of it, and from what I've been made aware of, is pretty short, quick. So we still have a hope, and Dr. Stokes, our former chairman, he really had intent that we get to this point before the end of the year with a final product, and I still think that we can. So that's our intent, is hopefully before we see 2024, we will have something made available, and it's coming out in the dispensaries across our state. So I think it's still realistic we can get there, but that also depends on litigation that we may have in front of us. We can't foresee that, but right now we have the green light to move forward, and we're very thankful that we're in this place. And we had today to regroup. More or less what we've done today is regroup from where we were 2 months ago. And I think we're in a good place.
Will there be in-person visits to any of the integrated facilities? That's been a major rub. Some say we're ready to go tomorrow, and others aren't up off the ground.
Yes, ma'am, I think there will be some in-depth. I don't know how many commission members, certainly the staff will be there, but as appropriate, commission members will also. We run the risk of showing favoritism, when I can go to this one and he can't go to it. So we have to be careful how impartial we are on those visits. So we'll put a lot of stock in our staff doing that part of the process. But as commission members want to be a part of that, I think it will be very doable, but it will take certainly time. But hopefully we're about to get rolling, and these facilities will be up and going pretty quick. But yes, ma'am.
What about a minority? I know that you went back to make sure you had a good minority representation as well as regional. Do you know how many of those organizations today are minority owned?
I don't know the exact number, but I know we are in better shape today than we were 2 months ago. We have more minority representation today than we did at the first issue of licenses. That was that was unforeseen, but I guess the process today paid other dividends that we didn't foresee. But yes, we have more than enough minorities that will be participating in every category, almost.
And what would you say to those who were denied a license today, who've spent a lot of money, put hundreds of thousands of dollars, if not millions, into a company hoping to be licensed?
It puts them in a hard place. I understand, and I guess my perspective on that would be, I wish they had not gotten so far in front of our process, not knowing who's going to get a license. Because when you have 90 applicants to consider, we all know that all 90 are not going to get one, but for some reason, a lot of our applicants assumed they were going to qualify for a license, and that's unfortunate, but that's where we are. And every applicant thought they turned in a jam-up great application, and there were some great ones. And sometimes it was just a few points separating one that got a license from one that did not. But at some point in time, we have to draw the line on who gets one and who does not. So I think we're in a good place. We actually issued more cultivator licenses today than we anticipated, but that's what the commission chose to do, so we followed suit. So, yes, ma'am.
And you told some of those denied not to lose heart that application windows may open up again. What's the likelihood of that, and when might that happen?
I can't give you a timeline on that, but we're fully, in other states, when you look at this process in the industry, some of these licensees that got a license today may not see the goal line, that they may fall through for one reason or another. So hope that doesn't happen, but it usually does. And this industry is pretty complicated, so a lot of these individuals who have gotten a license today, there may be a few that don't make it for one reason or another. Either the finances won't get there or things just fall apart on them that they don't foresee. So at that point in time, we will have to go back. The commission will and say, well, these licensees have failed for one reason or another, and we will regroup and have another window of the application process.
Mr. Vaughn, you said the score from the USA evaluators that they said were correct. How did those factor into the nominations today? How big a factor were those in the choices?
I don't know if he can exactly speak to that. Nominations were made anonymously. The commission members made their own ballot nominations on their own. They did not discuss those. So
Yeah,
I don't think that he could speak to the
Yeah,
commission
Mike,
members.
that one's kind of, it's not science on how we did that. We said, okay, we're gonna have an anonymous nomination process, and we absolutely did. And based on what we know today, and the figures and numbers and data that we have presented to us again, even after the retabulation took place, and we saw where the inconsistencies were, and we were able to regroup and readjust. But overall, our licensees have not changed drastically, I would say. Pretty much the same. A few got licenses, we got a whole lot more cultivators. We don't know yet what the state of Alabama is going to demand as far as amount of product. That's still an unknown. So how many cultivators, how many processors, integrators do we need across our state? Because if you have too much product, it's gonna lower the price, and a lot of these facilities may fall flat. A lot of money invested in facilities that can't even justify paying for them because can't get enough of the product.
And on the dispensaries, are they scattered out throughout the state?
They're pretty well dispersed across the state. That's our primary concern on dispensaries, because that's where, the customer is going to go. The patient looking for medical cannabis. Hopefully we won't have to drive. I think we had make a 50-mile radius is kind of what we envisioned to begin with. That's as far you'd have to go to find a dispensary to suit your needs. And I think today we have pretty good disbursement based on our latest view of them.
Is there one in Birmingham?
I can confirm that to you after.
I'm not sure. I know that was a big item for us, is the disbursement of dispensaries. Because that really matters to most people, how far has that patient got to go to acquire that product. Hopefully it's not a long way. So, and I think these dispensaries may change over time. The owner of the dispensary, they can probably relocate when they see a need is not being met in a certain territory.
As the new chairman of this process, any message to applicants or those who were denied who may have lost some confidence in the way that this process has worked?
They very well may have lost confidence. I think we gained a lot of confidence today. I think all of our commission, this is probably the best meeting we've had thus far to get us all on the same page for the most part. You heard a few no votes, yes votes for this one or that one, but that's okay because all those nominations were anonymous. So we're pretty much saying, okay, I did not know that one was going to be voted on. But that's where we are, and I think that vote is about as honest and true a representation of what our commission wants to see as you can possibly get. But yes, I think it's a big day for us. Hopefully we can move forward. And, we don't know what litigation may look like tomorrow. It seems to change daily. But we as a commission, I think, are as together in our mindset as we can be. Because we know that ultimately our goal is to get that product across the finish line. It is not about our licensees making money. Certainly they have to make money to function and pay for their facility and pay their people. And it could be a big deal for a community or a town that has these facilities. But it's so much more directed towards the patient that is looking for this medical cannabis. And as Dr. Stokes always said, they're the ones waiting and hoping that we're going to get this show on the road. And he was so right, because he's already doing this in the state of Florida. And so he knows the value of medical cannabis for these patients that have been waiting patiently for us to get to where we are now. So hopefully we can reach before the end of the year. That will be my intent and my hope and my prayer. So before the end of 23, we can have a product available. That's a stretch, I will admit. But I think it is still doable on our time frame if we can keep things moving forward.
And you may have answered it already before I walked in, but what will this process look like with those who are awarded a license today, kind of moving forward, you know, some, because you say some aren't able or might lose their award?
We hope they don't lose their license, but you know, that license can be pulled at any point in time for a multitude of reasons, and that's all in the law. So we will have basically a police force inspecting all these facilities, making sure they are operating within the parameters of what we've drawn up. So there may be a time or two that a facility falls flat, it has not abided by the laws that have been drawn up for a facility to operate within, be it security or employees working at the plant. A lot of things could go wrong in a facility. So there's a lot at stake. They'll have to do it right, whether it's a cultivator or a processor or a dispenser. I mean, can you imagine the security a dispensary will have to have? So all those things will have to be up to a certain level of expectation for us to say, yes, keep that one going. Keep that one going.
And is there a deadline for when that will be determined, whether or not they lose that award, or if they'll keep it?
That'll be a day-to-day thing.
Okay.
Yeah, that'll be some careful study. You know, it's not going to be just a haphazard thing that the license is pulled. There'll be a lot of consideration on that.
So will there be inspections done at all of the 24?
Yes, there'll be inspections going on consistently. And I think we're on the cusp of probably hiring some more inspectors to get us ready for the next phase of our process. But yes, the inspection process will be ramped up and it'll be going on all the time. We cannot let our guard down on this product. Y'all know what it is. It's a narcotic, so we have to make sure that we have it protected from the front end to the back end.